Next article is Quota 2 money, that is scheme that gives MP power to recommend admission students to Kendriya Vidyalaya, undermines the quality of education, goes against the constitutional provision. Okay, the special dispensation scheme for admission in Kendriya Vidyalayas. Currently, the scheme allows every MP to recommend 10 students for admission to the Kendriya Vidyalayas, given that there are 543 MPs in Lok Sabha and 245 MPs in Rajya Sabha. Total of 7,880 admissions are executed through this quota every academic year. Since the scheme facilitates the admission over and above the class strength of the KVs, Kendriya Vidyalaya, it distorts the student-teacher ratio in the schools. It is well known that maintaining a healthy public pupil-teacher ratio, especially at the foundation level, is critical to ensure the desired learning objective. National Education Policy 2020 recommends a student-teacher ratio below 30:1 for schools, and the policy sets an aspirational target below 25:1 in areas with large number of socio-economically disadvantaged students. MP quota hinders these objectives as it dilutes the educational standard in Kendriya Vidyalaya. The quota has served little purpose to that end. Such a discretionary provision in admission practices discounts the quality and goes against the spirit of transparency, consistency and meritocracy. An MP is approached by the people several times, more than a quota allotted to him. Evaluating each proposal to undermine the most deserving and meritorious one is practically unfeasible. Use of this power therefore prone to arbitrariness. 7,880 seats under MP quota could have served a better purpose if they had been allotted to meritorious students in a transparent manner. The MP is forced to turn down a large number of applicants. This provokes public anger in the constituencies as a number of people gets rejected without a rational justification. MPs are not given such as discretionary quotas in Java or Navodaya Vidyalayas or for that matter of central educational institution in the country. Admission through it fails to maintain a fidelity to the constitutionally mandated 50% reservation criteria for SC, ST, OBC. It also deprives the economically weaker sections of the right of 10% reservation and ignores the right of differently abled 3% horizontal reservation. Okay, this is what the article talks about. Next article that we are moving into is related to Mariupol in flames, Biden heads to Europe. Wednesday, for an emergency NATO summit on Ukraine, where invading Russian troops are stalled, cities are under bombardment, and the besieged port of Mariupol is in flame. That is what we are seeing in this picture. Next article is related to Taliban cancels girls' higher education despite the pledges. The Afghanistan Taliban rulers decided against opening schools to girls to girls above 6th grade. Okay, the move is likely to deal a significant blow to the credibility of Taliban had been trying to build an international donors in recent months. It could threaten the billions of dollars of humanitarian aid that have helped keep millions of Afghans from famine as the country grapples in the economic collapse. Next article that we are moving into is Ahir Regiment demand. Okay, Ahir Regiment in the Indian Army. Ahirwal region, which includes the southern Haryana district of Rewari, Mahendragarh, Gurgaon, is associated with Rao Tularam, that is Ahir hero of revolt 1857, has traditionally contributed soldiers to Indian Army in large numbers. The bravery of Ahir troops of Haryana in the Battle of Rizangla in 1962 was widely known. Most of the soldiers of C Company of 13th Battalion of Kumaon Regiment perished fighting the Chinese onslaught but broke the enemy's advances to Chasal. Long argued that Ahir deserved full-fledged infantry regiment named after them. Okay, Ahir of 13 Kumaon deployed at Rizangla in eastern Ladakh resisted the Chinese attack on them until almost the entire company of 120 troops had been wiped out. Next, the article it has been what has been Army's response to the demand means. The Army has rejected the demand for a new class or caste-based regiment. It has said while the older regiment based on caste and regions like Dogra regiment, Sikh, Rajput, Punjab will continue, and no demands on the lines of Ahir regiment, Himachal regiment, Kalinga, Gujarat regiments on any tribal would be entertained. The military does not subscribe to the colonial theory of martial races, which led to the creation of single class or caste regiment. The article says, why Mariupol matters to Russia in the war. Let us see. Mariupol lies between Crimea, which Russia annexed in 2014, and that we are seeing in the map, Donbass, and the eastern Ukraine terrace. The Russian backed the separatists have controlled since the year. Okay, capturing Mariupol will give Russia enormous maritime advantage, having already seized Crimea with Kherson having fallen. Okay, the fall of Mariupol will mean Ukraine will lose of its entire coastline and its maritime commerce will be cut off. The grain trade through Black Sea is the lifeblood of Ukrainian economy. Before the Russian onslaught began, Mariupol accounted for a fifth of the Ukraine's ferrous metal exports. Okay. Next article that we are moving into is, in Karnataka 2015 caste census, Supreme Court order on OBC quota tie up local polls. The findings of unpublished caste census carried out in Karnataka when the Congress was in power between 2013 and 18 has assumed significance in the light of a recent Supreme Court order reiterating that reservation of OBC in the local bodies should be based on only empirical data on the numbers and backwardness of the caste group. The election to Bengaluru City Corporation and many Zilla Panchayat and Taluk Panchayat seats in Karnataka have been due over a years. In January, Supreme Court had directed the Maharashtra government to submit a data on OBC available with it to the State Commission for Backward Class to enable the Commission to assess its correctness and make recommendation for the representation to these classes in the state local bodies. Okay. Supreme Court's order in 2010. Okay. The bench judgment in the case where the validity of reservation for OBC under Article 243D6 and 243T6 was challenged. Political quota to be backed by empirical data, unlike reservation for OBC, SC, ST in the education and employment. Court said in 2010 that identification of backward class under Article 243(6) and 243(d)(6) should be distinct from the identification of socially and educationally backward class for the purpose of Article 15(4), that was backward class for Article 16(4). Both of these articles empowers the government to make laws for the upliftment of backward class. In the absence of updated empirical data, it is nigh impossible for the court to decide whether the reservation in favor of OBC are proportionate or not. Next article that we are moving into is TCS 18,000 crore buyback oversubscribed 7.52 times. Earlier, companies used to focus on dividends than buybacks, but the government has started changing 30% tax according to slab on dividends. Taxation on buyback profit is lower than dividend taxation. This is what the newspaper is all about. Thank you. If you like the video, please do share, subscribe and comment.